I sold your show tickets to pay rent. Taylor Swift can wait, my brother said. $2,400 seats I bought for my daughter's 16th birthday. Mom, he has bills. You have a job. Could you imagine your child's biggest dream, a once-in-a-lifetime moment, being snatched away right in front of them? Not by a random stranger, but by your own flesh and blood. What would you do when that betrayal hits, and your family expects you to just roll over and take it? Hey everyone, it's Larry here. I'm 41 and I drive a taxi. And if there's one thing I've learned in life, it's exactly how much a small favor costs. Because I'm always the one who ends up paying for it. This story, though, it's different. It's about the day I finally stopped paying. It all went down last summer, the week my daughter, Mia, turned 16. We were in this massive stadium line, like a river of glitter and friendship bracelets, heading to a concert. Mia's mascara was already threatening to give up the ghost, but she didn't care. For the first time in what felt like forever, she looked light. She had something to look forward to that wasn't school pressure or my usual, we're fine. Don't worry about money voice. She was holding her phone up, practically like a sacred relic. Dad! She beamed, her cheeks shaking from the force of her smile. We're really doing this. We got to the front. The attendant took Mia's phone, angled it at the scanner, waiting for that happy little beep. Instead, the screen flashed a bright, angry, ugly message, ticket invalid. My heart just stopped. The attendant tried again. Same message. She frowned, like it was some kind of tech glitch. Sometimes it's just the brightness, she said, still polite. Can you pull it up again? Mia's fingers flew across the screen. Swipe, tap, barcode. She held it up again, this time with both hands, like it was a desperate prayer. Still, the screen glared back, ticket invalid. The attendant's expression shifted then. Not dramatic, just less friendly. Did you buy these from Ticketmaster? She asked. Yes. I shot back, maybe a little too fast. Directly 2 months ago. Okay, she said. Do you have the email confirmation? My stomach did that slow, heavy drop, like an elevator suddenly starting before you're ready. Because I did have the confirmation, but I also had something else. A text. One I hadn't fully processed yet because I'd been driving all day, because it was Mia's birthday week, because I was trying so hard to just stay present. It was from my mom, earlier that afternoon. Mom, call your brother. He's stressed. That was it. No context. No details. Just handle him. I looked at Mia. Her smile was still there, but it was wobbling at the corners. What's wrong? She whispered, already knowing. Nothing, I lied automatically. Just give me 1 second. I stepped to the side, my hands shaking a little as I opened my Ticketmaster app. And that's when my blood turned to ice. The event was there. The tickets were listed. But right under them, in small, gray text that I swear to God wasn't there yesterday, it read, Transfer complete. What? I didn't transfer anything. My hands were steady, but my brain was screaming. Transfer complete to who? When? From what device? I tapped the details. And there it was. A timestamp. 2:18 p.m. today. Mia's birthday week. The day of the concert. Hours before we were supposed to walk in. I swallowed hard, walking away from the line so Mia wouldn't see my face. Then I called the one person in my family who always answers, because he always wants something. My brother, Kevin. He picked up on the first ring. Yo, he said, like we were just two buddies catching up. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I didn't do the thing my mom always expects me to do. Panic, then fix it. I asked one question. Kevin, I said, my voice eerily calm. Did you access my Ticketmaster account today? A pause. A breath. Then, casual like he was telling me, he borrowed my lawnmower. Yeah, I needed to. Listen, don't panic. My grip tightened on the phone until my knuckles were white. What did you do? Another pause, like he was searching for the version of the truth that would hurt him the least. I sold your concert tickets for rent money, he said. Taylor Swift can wait. For a second, I didn't hear the stadium noise. I didn't hear the thousands of people around me. I didn't even hear Mia behind me, asking softly, "Dad?" All I heard was my brother, sounding relieved, like he'd finally gotten it off his chest. "I had bills," he added quickly. "My landlord's on me. And you have a job. You're always working. You'll make it back." I spoke very, very calmly, because if I didn't, I was going to say something that would make my daughter remember this moment as a fight instead of a boundary. "How did you get into my account?" I asked. He laughed once like I was adorable. "Same password you use for everything," he said. "Mom told me. She said you wouldn't mind." My chest tightened, a cold knot forming. "You're standing there with her, aren't you?" I said. "Yeah," he replied, and I heard my mom in the background, muffled, already arguing. "She's saying you need to chill," he added. "She's saying you'll be fine." I hung up. I didn't block him. Not yet. I turned back to Mia, who was watching me, her phone clutched to her chest like a fragile bird. "Dad," she said again, even softer now. I took a breath. Then another. The thing that bothered me wasn't the money, I told her. And that was true. I've lived my whole adult life with money stress. I know how to stretch $40. I know which gas stations are cheaper by 4 cents a gallon. I know which grocery store marks down chicken at 7 p.m. on Thursdays. The thing that bothered me wasn't the $2,400. It was the timing, the calculation, the fact that my daughter was standing in a glittery stadium line on her birthday week, trusting me completely, while my own family was treating her like a spare change jar. "I need to make a call," I said gently. "Stay right here. Don't move." "Okay." She nodded too fast, her eyes brimming. I walked away again and called Ticketmaster. The hold music was upbeat in that way that makes you want to throw your phone into traffic. When an agent finally picked up, I didn't tell a story. I didn't vent. I gave facts. "My account was accessed without my permission," I said. 2 tickets were transferred at 2:18 p.m. today. I'm at the venue right now, and the barcode is invalid because the tickets were transferred out. I need the transfer reversed or a refund. Issued immediately. There was a pause while she typed. "Okay," she said, professional. "I can see the transfer. It was completed today." "Yes," I said. "Not by me." "Have you shared your login information with anyone?" "No," I said, then corrected myself, because I wasn't going to be cute about it. I didn't give him permission. My family knows my old password because, years ago, I used it for everything. I changed most of them, but I didn't think about this. She asked me to verify the last 4 digits of the card. I did. She asked for the email address. I gave it. Then she said something that made my stomach tighten all over again. "The tickets were transferred to a different email address," she said. "I can't disclose the full address, but it is not yours." "I know," I said. "That's the problem." She put me on hold again while she escalated it. I stared at the concrete wall near the entrance, my daughter standing 50 feet away, trying to look brave. And in that moment, while the hold music chirped like nothing in the world mattered, I made a decision. It had nothing to do with Taylor Swift. It had everything to do with my family. Because here's what nobody tells you about being the responsible one. People don't thank you. They assign you. They make you the default. You become the guy who will pick up the check, fix the problem, absorb the hit, and still show up smiling. And the day you don't, they act like you changed. Like you suddenly became cruel. The agent came back. "Mister," she said, "because the tickets were transferred out of your possession, we can't simply reissue them at the gate. However, we can open a fraud claim. If it's determined to be unauthorized access, we can issue a refund to the original payment method." "Open it," I said. "There's an investigation window," she warned. "Refunds aren't immediate." "I understand," I said, and my voice didn't shake. "Open it anyway." She asked if I wanted the account locked. "Yes," I said. "Lock it." She asked if I wanted all devices signed out. "Yes." A record of the access log emailed to me? Yes. And I felt something in me settle into place. because now it wasn't a family argument. It was documentation. Then I walked back to Mia. She looked up at me like she was trying to read my soul. "We can't get in," I said simply. Her eyes filled immediately. She did that thing teenagers do, trying to blink away emotion like it's embarrassing. "But Dad," she whispered, her voice cracking, "you bought them." "I did," I said. "Then why?" I crouched slightly so I was level with her. "My brother took them," I said. "He transferred them out of my account today." Her mouth opened, then closed, like her brain couldn't possibly fit that into the world. "Why would he do that?" she asked, like there had to be a reason that made sense. "Because he wanted money," I said. She stared at the ground for a second. Then she whispered, "On my birthday." I didn't answer, because if I answered honestly, it would have been too sharp. Instead, I said, "You didn't do anything wrong." She nodded, but it didn't land. I stood up, took her hand, and we walked away from the entrance. Music and screaming and glitter spilled out from inside, like another universe, one we weren't part of. We got to my taxi, my actual taxi, because I was working until 3 p.m. that day. Mia sat in the back seat like a passenger, shoulders curled in, staring out the window. I got in the driver's seat, stared at the steering wheel, and felt a heat behind my eyes. Not tears. Pressure. I sent one text to my mom. "Me. Kevin sold Mia's concert tickets today. We were at the gate. They didn't scan. I filed a fraud claim with Ticketmaster and requested a refund. Do not contact Mia." Then I drove. I didn't know where at first. I just drove, because driving is what I do when life gets messy. After a few minutes, Mia's voice came, quiet from behind me. "Are you mad at me?" That question hit harder than anything my brother did. I pulled into a parking lot, turned around in my seat and looked at her. "No," I said firm. "Never. I'm mad at adults who know better." She nodded slowly, tears finally spilling. "I was so excited," she whispered. "I know," I said, my throat tightening. "I'm sorry. Why does Grandma always—" She trailed off, like she didn't want to say the ugly thing out loud. Like if she said it, it would be real. I waited. She wiped her face with the sleeve of her hoodie. "Why does Grandma always pick him?" she finished. That was the question I'd been dodging for 20 years. Kevin is my older brother by 3 years, but in my mom's mind, he's the baby. He's sensitive. He struggles. He just needs a little help. And I'm the one who handles things. I used to think it was love. Then I realized it was a system. Kevin breaks things. I fix them. Mom keeps the peace. Dad stays quiet. Repeat. And as long as I keep fixing, the system never gets exposed. I took a breath. "Because she's used to it," I said carefully. "But you and I don't have to participate." Mia nodded, shaky. Then she said, her voice small, "I hate him." I didn't correct her. I just said, "You don't have to talk to him, ever." That night, after I got Mia fed and calm and watching a movie like her body didn't want to be in her own life, I sat at my kitchen table with my laptop. I didn't drink. I didn't spiral. I didn't call friends to rage. I did what I always do. I built a file. I pulled my Ticketmaster account activity. I saved the email log. I changed the password to something long and ugly and unrelated to anything Kevin could guess. I turned on two-factor authentication. I checked my email security and saw a login alert from a device I didn't recognize at 2:11 p.m. I screenshotted it. I checked my bank statement and saw the original ticket charge from 2 months ago. $2,400. 2 tickets plus fees. The kind of number that makes you feel reckless even when you plan for it. I made a note of the case number Ticketmaster gave me. Then, because I knew my family, I did one more thing. I opened my checking account and looked at my automatic transfers. Every month, on the 1st, $300 went to my mom's account. Not because she needed it. Not officially. Because things are tight, she'd always say. Because your brother's trying. Because it helps. I'd been doing it for years. It was never framed as funding Kevin, but it always was. I stared at that scheduled transfer for a long moment. Then I canceled it. Not paused. Canceled. I also canceled the autopay I'd set up for my mom's phone plan, because Kevin was on it too, and somehow his line always had the newest phone. Then I drafted a simple email to my mom and my dad. Subject: boundaries. Kevin accessed my account without permission. He transferred and sold my daughter's tickets on the day of the concert. The tickets did not scan at the gate. I filed an unauthorized access claim and requested a refund. Mia will not be contacted about this. I will no longer be providing financial support to the household. Then I hit send. I didn't add emotion. I didn't argue. I didn't threaten. I just changed the structure. The next morning at 7:14 a.m., my phone rang. Mom. I let it ring. At 7:16 a.m., she texted. Mom, call me now. I didn't. At 7:22 a.m., she texted again. Mom. Kevin told me what happened. He has bills, Larry. You have a job. There it was. The sentence that always made everything disappear. Like my work was a magical sponge that could absorb any harm. I typed back one line. Mia is not a bill you can move around. Then I put my phone face down and made coffee. By 9:03 a.m., my dad texted. Dad, son, let's talk. I replied, email is fine, because talk in my family means pressure Larry until the system goes back to normal. Around noon, Kevin finally texted me himself. Kevin, bro, you're being dramatic. I was going to pay you back. I stared at that message for a full 30 seconds. He was going to pay me back. With what money? The rent money he used to survive? The job he didn't have? The logic didn't matter. It never does. I typed me, cool. Then go figure out your rent without me. Then I blocked him. Not as a tantrum. As a decision. That afternoon, I got an email from Ticketmaster confirming the fraud claim was open and the account was locked pending investigation. I forwarded it to myself, printed it, and put it in the folder I'd started labeled Mia. Mia came home from school and didn't talk much. She went to her room, closed the door, and I heard her music turn on low. Around 6 p.m., she came out and sat at the kitchen counter while I cooked. Grandma texted me, she said. My hand froze on the cutting board. What did she say? I asked, keeping my voice neutral. Mia slid her phone across the counter. It was my mom trying to sound sweet. Grandma, honey, your uncle had an emergency. He didn't mean to hurt you. Don't be mad at him. Family is family. Mia's eyes stayed on mine. She didn't look like a kid. She looked older, tired. Am I allowed to be mad? She asked. That question should never have to be asked. Yes, I said instantly. You're allowed to feel whatever you feel. Mia swallowed. She said he had bills, she said. I know, I replied. Mia's jaw tightened. So do you, she said. You always have bills. You don't take my stuff. I nodded once. Exactly, I said. That night, I didn't try to fix it with a new gift or a forced smile. I did something else. I told Mia the truth about our finances in a way I hadn't before. Not scary, not heavy, just real. I saved for those tickets for 4 months, I told her. I picked up extra airport runs. I skipped eating out. I planned it because you mattered. Mia's eyes filled again, but this time the tears looked different. Like she finally understood that the love was real, even if the world was ugly. A week later, Ticketmaster emailed me again. They confirmed unauthorized access and issued a refund to my original card, $2,400. It hit my account on a Thursday at 3:26 p.m. I stared at the notification, not relieved, just validated, because I knew what would happen next. As soon as my family realized I got the refund, they'd treat it like the problem was solved, like the only harm was the money. They were wrong. I didn't tell them about the refund. I didn't announce it. I didn't post it. I didn't wave it in anyone's face. I quietly moved the money into a new savings account labeled Mia Future and locked it down with a different bank, different login, different everything. Then I waited. It took 3 days. On Sunday, my mom showed up at my apartment. She didn't knock politely. She knocked like she owned the door. I opened it, stepped out into the hallway, and closed it behind me. Mom looked tired, but not in a sorry way. In a "this is inconvenient" way. "Larry," she started immediately. "Why are you doing this? Kevin is under so much pressure." I didn't let her walk past me. "We're not doing this in my home," I said. Her eyes narrowed. "I raised you," she said like that was a weapon. "And I'm raising Mia," I said calm. "Different job." Mom exhaled sharply. "He said he sold them for rent," she said, like she was stating a neutral fact. "He didn't do it to be cruel." "Mom," I said, my voice staying low. "Mia was at the gate." She blinked, but didn't fully absorb it. "So," she said, then corrected herself because she heard how bad it sounded. "I mean, she'll get over it. She's a kid." That was the moment. Not the ticket transfer. Not the invalid barcode. That sentence. "She'll get over it." Like my daughter's heart was a minor inconvenience. The thing that bothered me wasn't that Kevin needed help, I said. It was that he chose my child as the place to take it from. Mom opened her mouth, ready to argue, ready to spin, ready to drag me back into the system. I cut her off with one line. "We're even now," I said. "You don't owe me anything, and I don't owe you anything." Her face changed, because she understood what that meant. No more $300. No more phone plan. No more quiet financial padding she could pretend wasn't funding her favorite son. "You can't do that," she snapped. "We're family." "I can't," I said, and I did. Mom's voice sharpened. "You're punishing all of us because of one mistake," she said. "One mistake." I repeated, and I almost laughed, because in their version of the story, Kevin had a tough day and did a thing, and now I'm overreacting. In mine, this was the most recent example in a long line of my daughter and I being treated like resources. I looked at my mom. "I'm not arguing about reality," I said. "You can call it a mistake. I'm calling it a pattern." Mom's eyes flashed. "Kevin is depressed," she said suddenly, switching tactics. "He's not okay. If something happens to him, that'll be on you." There it was. The emotional hostage note. I nodded once. "If Kevin needs help," I said, "he can get professional help. I'm not his safety net anymore." Mom stared at me like I'd slapped her. Then she did something I didn't expect. She started crying. Not quiet tears, big dramatic sobs. "You've changed," she cried. "You're cold." I didn't move. "I'm not cold," I said. "I'm done." She wiped her face angrily. "You think you're better than us." "Because you work," she snapped. "No," I said. "I think Mia deserves adults who don't treat her like collateral." Mom's crying stopped like a faucet. Then she leaned in, her voice low. "You're really doing this?" she said. "Yes," I said. She stared at me for a long beat. Then she turned and walked down the hall like she was leaving a stranger's building. That night, my phone lit up. Kevin called from a new number. I didn't answer. Then a text from him. "Kevin, Mom said you cut them off. You got your refund. So what's the problem?" I stared at the message. The problem wasn't the refund. The problem was that my brother looked at my daughter's birthday and saw an opportunity. And my mom looked at the damage and said, "She'll get over it." I didn't respond. I blocked the number. The aftermath hit fast. My aunt messaged me on Facebook. "Heard you're having a breakdown. Call your mother." A cousin I barely talked to texted. "Dude, Kevin's really struggling. Why are you being like this?" My dad emailed. "You're tearing the family apart." Even one of my regular taxi customers, an older woman who knows my mom through church, climbed into my cab and said, "Your mother is worried sick. She says you're not yourself." That was new. The concern about his mental health tactic. Like boundaries are a symptom. Like saying no is a crisis. I didn't defend myself. I didn't explain to strangers. I didn't argue. I kept doing what I've learned keeps me safe. Facts, structure, silence. I replied to my dad's email only once. Dad, I'm not discussing this by phone. If you want a relationship with Mia and me, you can respect our boundaries. Kevin is not part of our life right now. That was it. Then I archived the thread. Kevin tried different angles. Anger. You're selfish. Guilt. It was rent, man. Pity. You know I'm not good at life like you. Smear. Larry cares more about a pop star than his own brother. And every time I didn't react, because the structure was already changed. No more automatic transfers. No more shared accounts. No more just this once. The quiet part of the aftermath was Mia. For a while, she didn't want to go to any big events. Not because she didn't love music anymore, but because she didn't want to trust excitement. It broke my heart in a way I didn't show her. So I did something slow. I rebuilt the trust, not by trying to replace the concert, but by proving consistency. I showed up. I listened. I didn't minimize. We made a new birthday tradition, a weekend day that belonged only to us. No family, no obligations. For her 17th, we drove 2 hours to a smaller venue and saw an artist she liked. Not as famous, not as expensive, but it was ours. And that time, when the ticket scanned, Mia looked at me like she'd been holding her breath for a year. It beeped. Green light. She smiled. I exhaled. Closure. It's been 14 months since the Taylor Swift Gate incident. My relationship with my parents is smaller. We talk maybe once a month. We keep it surface level. Weather, health, my work schedule. Anytime my mom tries to slide into guilt or Kevin updates, I shut it down calmly. I'm not available for that conversation, I'll say, and I mean it. Kevin, and I haven't spoken since that day. I heard through the family grapevine that he bounced between jobs, moved in with a friend, then came back to my parents' place. I also heard he tells the story like I abandoned him over concert tickets. That's fine. In his version, he's the victim. In mine, I protected my kid. Mia is 17 now, taller than her mom ever was, smarter than me in ways that scare me a little. She has a part-time job at a coffee place, and she saves money like she learned something early. That adults aren't always safe, just because they're family. Sometimes that makes me sad. Sometimes it makes me proud. My life is quieter now. My finances are steadier. Not because I suddenly got rich, but because I stopped bleeding money into a system that never respected me. I still drive my taxi. I still work weird hours. But I sleep better. And here's the concrete lesson I took from it. If someone can justify hurting your child because they have bills, they will keep doing it until you remove the access. So I removed the access. No speeches. No dramatic announcements. Just a clean, final change. Family isn't who shares your last name. It's who doesn't treat your love like a resource. Mia's heartbreak, witnessed in real time at that stadium gate, and my family's response. He has bills, Larry. You have a job. It taught me something savage. It taught me that those two things are not equivalent. The real lesson? When someone can justify stealing from your child because they have bills, they're not struggling. They're calculating. Kevin didn't have an emergency. He had access, and I was financing it. When my mom saw the damage, she said, she'll get over it. She's a kid. Not sorry. Not horrified. Just dismissive. Like Mia's devastation was a minor inconvenience in Kevin's rent crisis. So, here's my question for all of you. When a family member steals your child's birthday gift and your mother defends them with family, is cutting off financial support punishment? Or is it simply stopping the funding that made the theft possible in the first place? And how many times does someone have to treat your child like a resource before you realize you're not keeping the peace? You're just financing the harm. Share your experiences in the comments below. Because being the responsible one shouldn't mean your kid pays the price for everyone else's chaos.